Good morning or good afternoon to everybody. I'd like to thank to participate to this webinar today. And the topic of today is our new application, Adam. That is an application to manage all of our documentation. You see, it's the key to the information of about our products. So, what is the use of this app? We can classify the use in three main uses. The first is pre-sales info. It means when you need to find a unit that might be suitable for your application, you need maybe an overview of our products. So in this case, you can access the general documentation of the product. Let's say the brochures, for example, or the catalog with the technical data, pictures and drawings. Specific drawings like the cutout and the layout of the unit. Or if you need more technical details about the unit, also the manual of the standard units, of the accessories and the controllers. The second phase we can imagine to use the documentation is when you need to install and start up the unit. So in this case, you need specific instructions to make this operation. And maybe you need also the CE certificate then to close the commissioning. So again, we have the documentation specific of the product, which might be the installation manual, the wiring diagram, hydraulic and refrigerant circuit diagrams. Then we have the test report and the CE declaration of the unit. Third case is when the unit is already installed and you need to service the unit, you need to make something on the unit. So an after sales or service use. In this case, if you lose the documentation or you need to service the unit, you might need to access the documentation we saw before, or you might need maybe to have the spare part list that is specific of the serial number you have opposite to you. Or you might need maybe the parameter setting for the electronic controller to set the controller at the previous status. So here we have the spare part list and the parameter of the electronic controller. In summary, with the Adam app, you can keep an organized archive of your units. You can search your units. You can open their documents. You can save every document on your device, send from your device via email, maybe to a PC, share the documents, and also print them responsibly. You can also monitor your units that are equipped with the web access. So the units that are equipped with the electronic controller and the Ethernet interface. How to get the app? You maybe have already downloaded it, as we sent our newsletter 2 weeks ago, and there was a QR code in our newsletter addressing to the site. Adam is free and for everyone, so without particular authorization from our side. Just download, register, and open the app. It is for mobile devices with iOS, so Apple, and Android, with the note that Google Play services are required for geolocalization and OCR, some functions that we will see later. Available languages of the app are Italian, English, German, French, Spanish, and Russian. It can be downloaded at app.stulz.it, or you can go on your store, Google Play or App Store, and search for Adam by STULZ. Third way to access the app is scanning the QR code on every unit. We will start to put a QR code on every unit, not only to download the app, but also to register the unit, as we will see very, very soon. Then, when you have downloaded and opened the app, a permission for to access the geolocalization will be required. It is important to give the permission for geolocalization, as the unit you will register will be automatically classified by city, so you can easily search them on the map. After that, a registration is required. Your name, the company where you work, the address of the company, and the important data is the email address. You can also go to the profile later and change information. After the registration, starts a tutorial teaching the main functions of the app, and then if you go in each sub menu, you will find a specific tutorial. So now the app is ready to start, and we go to the main page. We have 9 tiles. The first we are checking are the 6 tiles to access the general documentation and information about our product. This is the documentation that you need usually for pre-sales. So when you need to check the catalog of the unit, or you need some information to select our products. We have all catalogs of all of our products, both STULZ and Cosmotech products, the brochures, the installation instructions, layout and cutout drawings of all standard units in all translated languages in the current version. We have also the link to the website. For example, if you need to download our ISO certification or other documents or other information about the company. In this step, we check the general documentation and information. It's divided by product. Here we have the catalog of all products. For example, here we see the page of Cosmotech. It's divided by each product. You see in the top part, we have the air conditioning unit, and then we have the chillers, so the industrial refrigeration. Each product is available, so you avoid, let's say, to open a file of 150 pages and try to find the product. Here is very quick and immediate. When you select a product, a PDF file opens, and you can do everything with it. So not only reading, but you can share it. You can send it to a PC, you can save it, whatever you need. We go to the other part, so to the right part of the tiles. Here we have the general product information. So for example, if you need a brochure or if you need general drawings, if you need the installation manual. If you touch one of the tile, this window opens. So at least at first you will see the product list to be checked. You see here, for example, the first are the manual of controllers. And then we have also the documentation about all of our units. When you touch, for example, I select, let's say, the FlexIn, then when you touch, inside, here is the window of the ProTherm. Inside, you will find the languages. The languages of the available document. If you touch the language, then you can access the document. For example, here I have touched the multi-language because the manual of the unit is multi-language. So I can access the specific documentation that is multi-language. For example, here we have the layout and cutout drawings, and we have the general manual. Other documents are for the specific language. For example, here we have the brochure and the manual of the accessories, that is this one in PDF. We return back to the main page. Now we check the top part of the tiles that are necessary to register and find the registered units. Why to register a unit? This is more when you need to install the unit or to service the unit, and you need its specific documents. We have imported in our database documents of each serial number since 2016. We have here we have the historic version of the document. So it is the documentation valid when the serial number was manufactured. It is available in English or multi-language if the documentation is multi-language. So we check at first the unit registration, register a unit, which is the left tile. There are three ways of registering a unit. If you see in the window here, I have a manual registration, or here is written, I hope it's not too small, is written use scan the QR code or the nameplate of the unit. The QR code is not available at the moment, but this is a picture I have taken of a sample of our label. It's coming soon in November, so approximately mid of November, it will be applied on every unit. A second way to register the unit is going with the camera of your mobile device and aiming to the top part of the nameplate. There is an automatic software to read the code of the unit, the serial number, and the production order number. The third way is manual. So you can register a unit by typing its serial number plus its production order number, or its serial number plus its model code. These are the data that are available here in the label. The manual registration of the unit is mainly needed when, let's say, the mobile device cannot access easily the nameplate of the unit. These are the required data. A note about required data, the serial number, which is the first number here, is always 10 digit. So with the 0 in the first part. The second number is the order number, which whose length might vary from 10 to 12 digits. In any case, it's as it is on the nameplate. And the third information is the code of the unit, which might be for the old units without the color. This is the last 3 digits, underscore and number are identify the color. And for the most recent unit since 2017 with these 3 digits and the color. If let's say the combination is not correct, you will find a note. Please check. So to register a unit manually, you can type 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, the combination of these data. as soon as you register a unit, there is the possibility to edit some data. So here you find the basic data of the unit, the item code, production date, serial number, also the place of registration. But also you can you can type a customized name. For example, you can say air conditioning unit on the e-panel and so on. You can assign the unit to a predefined category. We will see later how to create the categories. And you can type some notes. For instance, unit to be serviced in 2 years. When the registration process is completed, you will see a page where the unit information are shown. Here we have still the serial number, production date, so the data you saw before. And if you scroll down, you see all the symbols of all documents, specific documents for the serial number that are available. Might be installation manual, the wiring diagram, special drawings, data or instructions, the CE declaration of the unit, the test report. For all the units, some documents. So this is, let's say, the full set of the document we can see about a unit. For some units, all the units, the documents were grouped in one manual. Now the manual is called the special manual. We will change a little bit the translation in a unique manual. Or in other cases, some documents might be less. I'm talking about the old units. So from 2016 up to now. Because in these days, we are linking to all of our codes all the specific documents. There are two kinds of documents. So it's a technical information that you might need when you install the unit, and an after-sales information. As an after-sales document, you will find the spare part list, and you might find the parameter setting of the electronic controller. A note about the spare part list. When you try to open the spare part list at the first time, you will see that an authorization request is sent to us. This is the only document with restricted access that requires an authorization from us, by us. The authorization is released only once. So when you get the first authorization to open the first spare part list, then you will be authorized forever to open this list. Then every PDF file always can be opened, shared, saved, and sent via email. We go now. Now we have, let's say, registered a certain number of units, and we would like to organize them in a list. If you enable the geolocalization of the unit will be automatically assigned to the place where your mobile is during the registration. There is also another way, another category by customized categories. Maximum 2 levels of customized categories are possible. To create a category, you have to type the main tile by category. A window opens. Here, if you see in the lower part, there is a menu button. Opening this menu button, you can add a unit, so you can register a unit also from this menu, or you can add a category. You can assign a unit to a previously created category during the registration, but also when you have already completed the registration, you can organize the unit even later. There are 2 ways of organizing the unit. The first one is selecting the unit and sliding to the right. You will find a remove and a move function. Move is to assign to a category, and remove is to remove definitely the unit from the list. The second way is going to the unit info. In the top part of the unit info screen, you find an envelope. We will see later its use, and you find a pencil. The pencil is to modify information of the unit. So if you want to modify the name, you can modify also the assigned category, and you can modify also the note. Now, let's say we have registered a certain number of units, we have organized them. Now we need to find them. The first immediate option is a map view. It's like the other commercial apps with the map. So you can zoom the map from large to small. Here on the map, the units are clustered. If you zoom in, then you will find each separate unit, unless all the units have been registered in the same place. So, for example, here you find cluster of six units. If you touch the cluster, then there are the list of the unit appears. It's also possible to register a new unit even in map view. Here we have the icon, the button to start a new registration. The second way to find the registered unit is the navigation by category. So it's the same menu we have seen before to create the category. Here you find also the unit that you have organized. There are 2 ways of classification we saw. So you can search the unit by city or by customized category. For example, here I have created STULZ Valeggio Factory A, STULZ Valeggio Factory B, to understand when the units, where the units are located. I have created also a second level, up to maximum 2 levels can be created. For example, here I have created STULZ Vallejo Factory A, production air conditioning line 1, production air conditioning line 2, server room, and so on. To help you to search the unit, also we have a list sorting function. By customized name, so the name you assign to the unit when you register it, by product code, by its serial number, or by the registration date. Making this presentation, I saw that the translation in English is quite weird. It will be modified very soon. There is another way to find the documents that is a very powerful research motor. You can find any file by its name. So you can search by the text string. You go to the main page. Here you have the lens. If you select the lens, you can type every string. Here I typed ETE, and a list of occurrences appears. For example, here in the top you find all the ETE units you have registered. In the lower part, it's the general documentation, so the documentation that is not linked to the specific serial number. Last function inside the menu, the unit info menu, is the intervention request. So if you need to service your unit, if you have anything to point out about the working of your unit, we have this icon, so the envelope icon. You go to the unit info, you tap here, and this window opens with the intervention request. Serial number is automatically filled in because it's the datasheet is of the specific unit you have selected. You can choose to be contacted or to specify another person to be contacted. You can write your request, and you can also include an email in your request. The request will be sent to our after sales. Last information you can find about the unit is when the unit is equipped with an electronic control with web access. So if you see here in the lower part, you can see the status of the unit, you can see the temperature, and by accessing here the web monitoring of the unit here in the lower part, then you can access the window of monitoring. So you have the all function available with the monitoring. Let's say checking the temperature, the status of the unit, or also writing some parameter and configure their working mode. What are the next steps linked to the application we have introduced? We will have a reduction of our documentation on paper. You might have received our newsletter last week. From the production entering in November the 2nd, we will reduce the documentation that is printed on paper, except the filter fans and the roof fan extractors. Because the filter fans are not managed with the serial number, and the roof extractors are more difficult to be accessed and registered. All the rest of our products will be with a reduced documentation, and all the rest of documentation will be available on our Adam app. The documentation that will remain printed on paper is a safety instruction for the installation and use of the unit, and the CE declaration. The rest of the documentation will be accessible via Adam. The other step from mid of November will be the introduction of the nameplate plus the QR code. The QR code might be positioned just below the nameplate, or let's say very next, depending on the configuration of the unit and on the space we have. So this is let's say all regarding the next steps. We have other things in our mind that will be developed on the app, and of course we expect that you will use a lot of people will use our app and will send us any suggestion to improve it. So that's all, and I thank you for listening. If you want to write a question or something else, I will answer. Okay, here I have a question from Senai. If it's possible to explain, sorry, if it's okay, the order number in the invoice, Senai, is not available. The production order number, but on the invoice you have the other two key information. You have the serial number and you have the code of the unit, so you can register the manual. You can register manually the unit also from the invoice. The second question is regarding the monitoring function. For the monitoring function, you need an electronic controller with the Ethernet interface, and of course you need to be linked to a monitoring system that might be an Ethernet line in your company. And you need, of course, to be authorized, to be allowed to access this monitoring line in your company. If you have the access, the app knows the MAC address of the unit with the electronic controller and is able to connect and access the monitoring interface of the unit. I have another question. So Adam is just an app. It's not possible to access all the documentation with a computer. You can open all documents with the app and then send them to a PC and open and store them to a PC. So you can basically via the mobile device, because you are in front of the unit, you use the mobile device to register the unit, and then you can open the file and send it to a PC. Other question from Senai. I don't understand exactly. Do you know that are the rest documents mandatory as printed for some countries? Which document you refer? Is there any option to see all units in same order in Adam? So you mean when you issue an order to group all unit? It's when let's say when you register the unit, you will find that the unit will have the serial number that are consequent, so that they are grouped by the serial number. Are there any other questions? In any case, I'm available to answer if you need any info regarding the app also in the next days. Okay, so if the questions are at the moment there is no new question, so I'd like to greet you all and wish you a nice afternoon and a nice day, and hear you next time for the webinar. Thank you very much. Bye bye.